And it's already Friday, and it's already football time. College football, then NFL, then Monday Night Football, and then I don't even know how to keep my head straight. I'm so damn busy, but I love it because there's nothing better than when it's already Friday night and you know you have a whole weekend of football coming up. We're going to get prepared. We're going to try to play with an edge and have a little bit of fun. College football DFS is chaos. If you are not ready for chaos, you better click off right now. What's up, new guy? I'm the Degenerate 75. I am a DFS content creator who has been playing fantasy golf and fantasy football for a long time and is here to help you get a little bit better at it. I'm not going to do it with my core plays and my top picks and my guaranteed winners. I'm going to do it by trying to help you with a little thing called the process, okay? If that sounds interesting to you, well, then hang around. If it doesn't, fuck off, all right? Because not that many people watch college football anyways. But don't forget, if you like the cut of my gym, come check out that schedule right there. Every Friday and Saturday night, I do my college football show and then my NFL football show. All things. Yes, I give away tickets where you can build with me. Me and you will build the tickets together and split the profits. Don't forget, I also do Showdown because I'm the Showdown Hoedown guy on Mondays and Thursdays at noon. And then I have my course preview. You can tell I'm a golf guy. My weekly preview with Tambo every Tuesday at noon. That will be on my station this week. So on your lunch hour, you go sit your ass down. You listen to me and Tambo prep you for week 3, you motherfather. And yes, if you're a golf tryhard, of course, I do the live stream every Wednesday. Some people call it the greatest show ever, all right? That's what some people are saying. There won't be one this next week, but there will be one for the Ryder Cup. You best believe. For every 50 likes we get over there, I will be drawing to play with me, right? We will make a ticket together. So get over there, drop a like. To get in that drawing, simply all you got to do is get a question, like, subscribe, do all those things. You're not going to discourage me because I fucking love this shit. I'll just talk to my mom. I know my mom's watching. There you go. That's one viewer. That's all I need. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to contest selection. And once again, look, it seems like DraftKings is going to keep it pretty status quo on us on these contests, which is honestly quite okay because I've already told you I feel very, very nice about the $20. It's as good as you're ever going to get in the main contest, so it's really not that bad. If you want to play in the lottery, that is one of the best ones you'll ever see. But as always, I will implore you to check out some of these other options they have. Check out this little air raid down here. It's a third to first. Probably tell them. That means get the fuck out of here. Let's see. What do we got? Let's sort by total prizes real quick. Anything good here? I mean, this marching band's not bad. Always like a $44. But, I mean, like this $4.20 max, this is just nutted, man. If you want to play GPPs, go get in that. But my lesson tonight is going to be this. Start playing more double-ups. Start playing more head-to-heads, okay? If you're a low-limit player, go play in the $1 head-to-heads. You just go right over here. You click head-to-head, and then you go click right here. And look, there's 996 available games. You can go play any of these guys. So what you do is maybe go play 5 or 6 of those guys this week and then go see how you do. And then if you're like, hey, this guy builds a really shitty lineup, well, then maybe remember that and play him again the next week, right? That is a great way to get some action because when you play head-to-heads, there's 2 ways you can win. You can just make a nutted lineup where you're going to win no matter what, or the other guy can just be a fucking moron and you can win by just having a very mediocre one and just beating a fucking pleb, right? That's always an option too. So really look into playing these head-to-heads. You're paying pretty minimum rake on these. And it's a great way to have fun, build your lineups, get a good sweat all day Saturday, and learn how to actually become a winning player at college football DFS. It is the most sustainable way because I don't care how good you are at GPPs. It is only about 5% of people who are turning a profit every year at college football DFS when it comes to playing strictly GPPs. The only way to sustainably do it is to get your money in double-ups and head-to-heads and 50-50s and build optimal lineups and just let dipshits go play wide receivers in the Superflex, okay? They're doing the Lord's work, okay? Playing guys that like have high ceilings but are going to get pulled at halftime. These people are morons. Just take advantage of them. Get guys who are going to be in competitive games. Get guys who are going to be on the field a lot and get guys who get usage, and that will get you there 99% of the time with good plays, okay? I'm not saying you're going to win 99% of the time. I'm saying that those guys will take care of you 99% of the time, all right? That is my advice to you. Play those head-to-heads. Play that cash game. It is so much more sustainable. If you're only going to play one GPP, though, of course you should be in my Go Get In It, the Showdown Hoedown Listener League. Don't make me tweet this shit out in the morning. We need to fill that. We need to fill it now. 300 spots, flat payout, reduced rake, and it's fun. Okay, there you go. You want to see our winners from last week? We have Trippin', Hard Work, Jason Reed, Paul Supple, Taco. I'm gonna say that says Taco Bell, but that might be because I'm hungry. All right, let's get to the slate. But before we do, don't forget, I have all my projections. I do projections for main slate, late slate, and FanDuel, and it's all loaded right here onto the solver, the best optimizer out there. If you want my sweaty try-hard projections and my sweaty try-hard ownership and the best optimizer out there, you can have it all right here, right? If you just want college football, it's only $24.99 a month. If you want all the sports I do, which is NFL, PGA, and college football, you can have them all for just a simple $39.99 a month. I'm telling you, you're not knowing how great life can be until you have an optimizer, okay? If you don't have 50 hours a week to hand build your lineups, well, then get an optimizer. Just make sure you use that landing page right there, and then all my projections will automatically be uploaded for you, okay? I'm going to run through the slate real quick. This is the Rosetta Stone, but of course it's the dumbed down version because you're the pores on YouTube that's just watching for the free shit. You want the real thing? You want the one that looks like this? Well, then come over to the website, you motherfather. Here you go. This is the plain Jane Stone. This is what you're going to get. You're lucky I left the snaps, the targets, and the rush games on there, you motherfather. Okay, we're going to go through it. And first of all, let me just say, I think DraftKings wakes up every Tuesday and they're like, hey, why don't we just pick all the shittiest games for the slate this week? And you know what? I always say this about DraftKings. You got to give them credit. Those guys have a goal, and they fucking get there. No one achieves their goals more than DraftKings because these games fucking suck. All right, let's just go through them. I mean, every game is almost a blowout potential. It's just a roo-roo. It's a roo-roo slate. And if that discourages you from playing, I don't think you understand college football DFS. Because the uglier a slate is, the more inherent advantage there can be because people are going to go like, roar, 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 I don't know who to play. And when people don't know who to play, they make more mistakes. So these ugly slates, if you're a college football DFS tryhard, you should be excited about it, not disgusted by it, okay? So the first game up, Florida State versus BC. As you can see here, Florida State is a significant favorite, 28.5-point favorite. And look, I think that Florida State is a legit national title contender. If that feels weird coming out of my mouth, but they are a legit team. Jordan Travis is a very good quarterback, but priced at $9,700 in a game where he is likely to not even touch the field in the fourth quarter, it's hard to see him get there. He's probably only going to play 75% of the game, and they have been running the ball fairly efficiently. Trey Benson, Tofa Feely are both very viable options there. Problem is, with all the guys in this game, is the blowout potential really kills their ceilings, right? And when it's not a competitive game, there's a decent chance he might not even throw for more than 2 passes in the entire second half. And at $9,700, how is he ever going to get you that 4X, right? There's almost no chance he's ever going to get to 38, 39 points when he is not playing a full competitive game. So as good as Florida State has looked so far this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it's almost like they're priced where you can't play them, right? If you force me to play somebody, I would say Keon Coleman is probably the best bet at $6,500. But once again, does he offer you the upside that the other guys can? If you do want to run some weird stack and you think BC is going to be competitive in this game, I really think the only guys, look, I only put 2 guys on the stone for you to consider, right? Here's the best rule I can give you when it comes to playing college football DFS. Stay away from fucking scrubby teams, all right? Boston College is a scrubby team. The only 2 guys really worth considering, in my opinion, is O'Keefe and Bond at wide receiver. Maybe if you do want to run some Florida State stack and hope that BC can get to 21, maybe if you're lucky, 28 points, I think it will probably be O'Keefe or Bond probably doing most of the damage to get them there, right? From there, you do have one of the better games on the slate, and when Louisville, Indiana is one of the better games on the slate, need I say more? Indiana is a team that's just not as good as they used to be. They're not the old offensive juggernaut. So if you're thinking this game's going to shoot out, well, it may, but it won't be because this is the old Indiana that can put up 38 on anybody, okay? Starting with Louisville, Jack Plummer is a serviceable quarterback. We've already seen him have one really nice game this year. He has a little bit of dual threat to him, as you can see, running for 4.5 attempts a game. At running back, it's almost a 60-40 split between Jordan and Grenada. And Jordan is a home run back. And if he doesn't hit those home runs, he's not the greatest play, Bob. Not the greatest play. But they do have a 31-point total. There is a chance he will be in a favorable script. Probably the chalkiest play on the entire slate. I don't know why they don't price this guy up. Mr. Thrash is going to thrash the shit out of Indiana, and he is only priced at $5,300. Week 1, I believe he was $5,100. He got like everybody 30-plus points. He was a smash play, and so what do? Hey, let's bump him up $200. That ought to be good. All right, thanks, DraftKings. So he's going to probably be like a plug-and-play for legit over half of all lineups and GPPs. There is a path to fading him, but damn, that guy's a ball. He's a target. He's a usage monster. That's the word I'm looking for. Running it back with Indiana, I would say the best thing I could say about Indiana is Cam Camper is a legit wide receiver, right? He is a dude we saw last year who was like legit averaging double-digit targets for the majority of the season. Problem is, he is trying to battle back from an injury, and we don't know where he is at right now. If he's going to be healthy, I think he would be the most likely person to push the pace of this game, and if it does somehow shoot out or become a 38-35 game, if Camper's healthy, he would be definitely the one I would be trying to target from Indiana as a run back if you're trying to do some weird Louisville stack. K-State, Missouri, this is a competitive total, right? As you can see, the line is only 5.5 points. The total is not very high at 47.5. That's more of an NFL total. But these teams are both like functional teams in a competitive environment, which we don't have a lot of on this slate. So if you want to stack this game for GPPs, I don't hate it. But you do have to ask yourself this. Are both of these teams boring, slow, and sloggy? Yes, yes, and yes, okay? And when you have those things, that's not a great environment for DFS scoring to pop off. Okay, though K-State, Will Howard, I just don't think he's at 8,200 is ever going to be playable in GPPs. He just doesn't have the upside. Giddens and Ward are both very good running backs, but they're almost in a true 50-50 split. Trying to guess those guys right is very hard, right? This isn't Michigan's backfield or Penn State's backfield where it's a 50-50 split and those guys can still get to 30. I just can't see these guys doing that. If you for some reason you want to stack Will Howard, Garcia and Brooks are definitely his top two targets, but man, K-State's passing game, they just don't give a shit about it. They're like, we're going to run the ball 95% of the time, and that's how it's going to be. Missouri, once again, another boring, sloggy team. The nice thing I can say about Missouri is their usage is very concentrated. Brady Cook is definitely their number one quarterback. Cody Schrader is definitely their number one running back. And Luther Burden is definitely their number one receiver, right? And Theo Weiss would definitely be the number two. The Oklahoma transfer, you turncoat motherfather. But once again, they're a slow, boring team that likes to run the ball, right? And Cody Schrader used to always be my dude when he was 4,800. But I had not a chance I'm playing Corey Schrader at 7,300 against K-State's defense, right? Yes, he might get 25 touches and still might get 7 points. Okay, so you gotta take this game with a grain of salt and ask yourself, is there any chance this game shoots out? If you think yes, well then get on in there because there's a lot of good options. To me, the best game on the slate, and I think most people are going to see it this way, is this LSU-Mississippi State game. It's the only one that kind of has like that, this could be a 42-38 kind of game. LSU has looked solid on offense, right? They didn't look great against Florida State, but that was more of a defensive issue. And then last week, of course, they really got it figured out against whatever slapdick school they were playing. Jaden Daniels, we know, is legit. It's hard to not have him in any time of lineup you're playing. He offers such a safe ceiling a safe floor with his legs, and he has that incredible ceiling because he can pass the ball. He has two big-time receivers in Thomas Jr. and Neighbors. The backfield is a mess. That they have Trey Bradford, who I'm pretty sure transferred to OU for like a day. He was getting carries in the first week. You want to try to figure out the LSU backfield and pay $5,700 for it? You go right on ahead, pal. I'll go elsewhere. Running it back, Mississippi State is an interesting thing. Going down to Starkville is not an easy place. You don't just go into Starkville and whoop Mississippi State's ass with their cowbells everywhere, okay? Know that Will Rogers and Mississippi State are going to probably keep this game relatively close. Jaquavius Marks is just an absolute usage hog out of the backfield. You can see 21 rushes a game and 4.5 targets. Insane usage out of him. I would think that Leadatrick? Yeah, look, I don't know how to say the guy's name. Mr. Griffin. The wide receiver is probably your best bet at a lead wide receiver for them. But Marks is a true usage monster. I think that a lot of people are going to correlate Daniels and Marks, or they're going to do a Daniels with either Neighbors or Daniels with Thomas and run it back with Marks. If you're running that in GPPs, just know that is going to probably be the most common stack and run back on the entire slate, right? Which makes sense because it is the best game. Penn State, Illinois, what do you want me to tell you? Penn State, they've got two amazing running backs who neither one of them have popped off. I just have a feeling that Singleton or Allen, I will almost guarantee you one of those two guys is going to go for 25 points this week. Do I know which one? No, I don't, Bob. It's going to be whatever one breaks the 70-yard touchdown run. That's going to be the one that does it. But this just sets up for Penn State to just run the ball right down Illinois' throat. They're going to likely control this game. Looking at the line, it is going to be a competitive total, and for the first time all year, Singleton and Allen will likely be getting carries on into the fourth quarter. If you want to be contrarian, maybe you could play a Drew Aller stack and put him with Lambert Smith, but it's Penn State. Are they really going to pass the ball? They're just going to run it, right? For Illinois, Luke Altmaier, sneaky good. I'm just telling you, if you are running 150 GPPs tomorrow and you're not considering Luke Altmaier in your player pool, I think you're doing it wrong. The guy can run the ball a little bit. He has some real rushing yards this season. He can pass the ball. And yes, I know they only have a 17-point total, but it's only a 15-point line, which doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to get blown out, right? He also has his Isaiah Williams, who is definitively his number one target as a stackable option. Maybe you get weird and you stack Altmaier and Williams and then run it back with Singleton or Allen, and that will be a stack and run back that nobody will play. From there, this is a game I want to believe will be competitive. GSU going up against Wisconsin. Surely they're going to give them a fight, but as you can see with the 19-point line, anytime you get over 2 touchdowns, you do have to be on blowout alert. But Wisconsin hasn't exactly been world beaters this year. But just know, Davis Brin is the Tulsa transfer, and they do have 2 really good wide receivers in Burgess Jr. and Mr. Hood. And they are, if they're going to get to 28 points, that is really going to push the pace of this game and makes Wisconsin super appealing. Now, on to Wisconsin, the most frustrating team ever. Why does Braylon Allen not get 25 touches a game? I don't know. Maybe the Wisconsin coaches don't like winning. Maybe they don't like success because they keep giving the ball to old Malusi, right? And Braylon Allen is definitively the better running back. He's probably almost certainly a top 5 running back in the nation, yet he just doesn't get the touches. I cannot believe they're only going to give him 12 rushing attempts a game when he is so talented. They're probably going to be playing from ahead, and I just have to believe that these dumb fucks in Wisconsin are eventually going to realize that you need to give the ball to Braylon Allen. But a contrarian play is Tanner Mordecai can throw a forward pass, right? They actually have a quarterback in Wisconsin who can throw a forward pass, and he has some decent passing options, right? Pauling and Green are probably the 2 highest projected ones, but don't forget that Bell and DK are both returning starters who had serviceable games last year, even when they couldn't throw the forward pass. Moving on, we got old Weber State, not Washington State, because Washington State, Utah would be a good game. No, Weber State versus the Utes. And Weber State, what do you want me to say? They got an 11-point total. Here's the best thing I could tell you. Don't play them. There you go. I mean, what do you want me to say? It would not be sharp to play them. Or if you do, maybe you could set a record for the worst lineup ever. I know. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Don't forget, hit that smash. Let's get to 75 likes. Every 25 likes after this, we'll do another drawing. We got, 87 people in here? Let's go. Utah's interesting, guys. Cam Rising has been out the first 2 games. If Cam Rising is going to be out for the 3rd game, Nate Johnson is going to be the starter. Nate Johnson is the min price that you'll ever see a quarterback at $4,500. A quarterback at $4,500 with a 36-point team total, and Nate Johnson's a guy that runs the ball, so he offers a nice floor. He is going to be almost certainly a lock play for so many people, right? I think in GPPs there is a path to fading him. In cash, if we get word that he's starting, he's going to be a real hard guy to fade, right? Because you got to just know that worst case scenario, he's probably going to get you like 12 points, right? If you didn't see, Micah Bernard is out for the season for Utah, which sucks for him, but is great for Jaquindon Jackson, who will definitively be the lead back out of the backfield. Yes, you still have Jalen Glover, but I think he'll only see about 25 to 30% of the snaps out of the backfield. Jaquindon Jackson is going to be in a game script where he's going to be ahead. I would imagine he gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 17 to 22 touches, and his touchdown equity is a real high. You can see we have him projected at 1.25 touchdowns. Look, if we get word that Cam Rising's playing, I think that a guy like Valey or somebody like that could be a really sneaky play in GPPs, but you also have to worry if Cam Rising plays, is he even going to play a full game, right? So I think the long story short is I just don't want to mess around with Utah wide receivers. I think there's enough wide receivers and better game scripts that could go off, and you don't want to get cute trying to play Utah wide receivers because, honestly, Utah wide receivers never get there, dude. Central Michigan, Notre Dame. Look, long story short, don't play Central Michigan. There you go. Saved you a lot of time. I mean, if you want to get weird, Bert Emanuel Jr. used to play at a real school, so I guess, that's something. Notre Dame, once again, you just have to worry about the blowout narrative. Guys like Sam Hartman have had good games. He threw for the 4 touchdowns, but there's almost no chance he's going to be playing the 4th quarter, and this is the same concerns I'm going to have with Estime. If I'm going to pay, he is the most expensive running back on the slate. If I'm paying $7,800 for a running back, I want him to get 4 quarters of action. I don't want his ass coming out in the 3rd quarter, right? And Estime is already a guy that, only plays about 60% of the snaps when the games are competitive. Now, if he's going to be only playing 60% of the snaps and being robbed of half of the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter, it makes him really hard to get in there, right? Same thing with Jaden Thomas. If you want to chase that, go ahead, but you got to be aware of what blowouts do to your lineups, right? You probably, if you were a guy that played Jaden Daniels last week, you're like, oh my God, look how good I am on the night slate because he had 33 points at halftime. But it doesn't matter because he got outpaced by 1 million people because he didn't get to play the whole second half. You need your guys out there the whole game. Remember that when you're building your lineups. This Northwestern Duke game, look, Northwestern sucks, and Duke is actually pretty good. The long story on what you should do with Northwestern, run. Okay, don't play those puss boys. That'd be my answer. But for Duke, it's tricky, right? Duke has real players. If you didn't watch them beat the brakes off of Clemson, then you should know that they have real good players. Riley Leonard is legit an NFL quarterback. He runs the ball. He passes the ball. He's highly efficient. I will tell you, there is a script where he only gets 10 points, right? There is one where they just run the touchdowns. He passes. He gets his 200 passing yards and maybe one touchdown. He throws an interception. He gets you 11 points or something like that, right? That is a path to there, right? Because I don't think Northwestern is going to push Duke, so I don't think Riley Leonard is going to probably get pushed and have a monster game. But I also feel like he's probably pretty safe for 20. Just know that when you play him, he's not an auto 20. There is a path to them just running the ball and not doing much with him and being pretty milquetoast, right? Don't forget, Jordan Waters and GPPs or Jaquez Moore, if they bust 1 or 2 long touchdown runs, not only does it nerf Riley Leonard, who's going to be very popular, I think Waters and Moore are going to be very low owned. And the further Duke gets ahead, the more those guys are going to get the ball. Never forget Calhoun. They have 3 really good receivers, Higgins, Moore, and Calhoun. If you want to stack with Riley Leonard, he is stackable, but I will say with all his rushing upside, I'd probably only play 1 back with him. All right, man, are we ever going to get through this slate? Jesus, this is taking forever. San Diego State sucks. Oregon State, Ukulele is just overpriced. I think Damian Martinez offers a very interesting play at running back, especially in GPPs. Everybody's going to play the same 3 or 4 running backs. I think Damian Martinez is a chance to get different at running back, but overall, not a great game. South Carolina, Georgia, you know how this game's going to play out. I know how this game's going to play out. Spencer Rattler knows how this game's going to play out. They're going to get their ass kicked, right? South Carolina, I don't think Georgia's as great as they've been these last 2 years, but I don't think South Carolina is very good either. The one thing I can tell you is Antoine Wells has been cleared to play. Even though I have marked as a status watch, he does appear that he's going to play and be 100%. If there's any chance that South Carolina is going to keep this game close, it'll probably be because that motherfather is busting off some big plays. So if you're going to run a Georgia stack, I think you certainly want to consider Antoine Wells Jr. as a run back. For Georgia, if you didn't see Brock Bowers, they put out the prices, and he was the Stone Men 3000, and they had to re-release the prices and put him out at 4,700. In my opinion, that's still too cheap. Yes, he has not got going in these first two games of the season, but Brock Bowers is an absolute stud. He is, without question, the best tight end in the country, and I think it's a guy that if it's just due for 120 yards and 2 touchdown type game, he's a guy I wouldn't mind. I'm not a big tight end and GPP kind of guys, but Brock Bowers, let's face it, that guy's basically a fucking wide receiver, right? He's like Travis Kelce. He don't count as a tight end, bruh. Moving on. Bama USF. The big news there is Jalen Milroe is replaced by Tyler Buckner, and we don't know what he's going to be yet, right? We don't know. Maybe he's going to actually be able to throw a forward pass, and then these Bama wide receivers like Burton, Bond, Prentice, Brooks all start to become viable again, because honestly, they're almost all unplayable when Milroe's the quarterback. To me, the more interesting play becomes Jace McClellan. I think this is a game where they ease Buckner in and they probably run the ball more. Jace McClellan is definitely the leader of that committee, and he is at 6,300 for a team that is expected to probably get around 42 to 49 points. I think he's going to probably get 15 to 20 carries, and he could really, really have a big game against USF. Western Kentucky is actually not as bad as you think. You can see they're giving them 18.5 points against Ohio State, which is quite the compliment, right? Austin Reed is a real quarterback. Malachi Corley is a real wide receiver. Problem is, are they going to get blown out? Or, is Ohio State just going to suffocate this team? Those are concerns, right? Ohio State has a big total, but once again, their wide receivers are scary to play because I'm still not convinced this McCourt guy doesn't suck, and Henderson and Mayan Williams have been in a true split in the backfield, so it's getting really hard to determine who to play there. And the last game, Tulane and Southern Miss is, Michael Pratt. Once again, we're waiting on Michael Pratt news. I would lean that he's probably not going to play. If he doesn't play, that means Kai Horton takes over. I think that really nerfs the value of all the receivers and really kills my interest in this game, right? If Michael Pratt does play and we get word that he's 100%, I think he becomes a smash play at GPPs, as he's a guy with a big upside who is in a relatively competitive game script and has receivers who can make big plays for him in Keys, Jackson, and Brazil. For USM, if you made me play somebody, I'd probably say play Frank Gore Jr. He has good genetics, I've heard. And outside of that, it's really hard to play them. Their passing game sucks, and they're just kind of a flaky team, right? But they are at home. If you want to get weird, I think Frank Gore's the one guy you could play there, especially if you want a run back against Michael Pratt. I think he is the one that makes the most sense. Okay. Hey, let's get to some questions and let's get to our drawing. Give me up to 75 likes so I can do 2 drawings. Come check out dgen75.com. If you like that Rosetta Stone I just went over, we'll wait until you see the real one, which has everything on there, including ownership, all my projections, everything you need, color coded for cash plays, everything you need. It's right there. And we have that at dgen75.com. We also have PGA, NFL Showdown, college football, everything you need. And if you're like, man, that sounds cool, I want to check it out, I just ain't got no money, well, just go sign up for my football newsletter, which is in the description of this, and the editor will give you a free week on my website. You just simply reach out to the editor at the DGen editor on Twitter, and he'll get you taken care of. Let's get over. Hey, we got 69 likes. Nice. Let's draw editor in the comments down here. Go ahead and draw me one, and and then once we get to 75 likes, editor, we will draw another. I'm gonna take a Topo Chico while he draws. All right, here we go. Editor in the chat, get it drawn. You guys drop a like, get us up to 75. Still getting 85 people in here, man. This is week 3. Mark Wagner, there you go, Mark. You're in there. Right after he just said play Hartman, and then he got Quest. All right, once we get up to 70, oh, somebody just took a like off. Fuck that guy. Loser. Just because he didn't win, he took a like off. I hope you fucking stub your toe tonight. All right, will there be any weather issues in tomorrow's game similar to NFL? I have not seen any, but we will be tracking that in the morning. You know I will be doing my Not a Pour stream over on the Discord tomorrow. So we'll be going over weather there. I'll get Akaso on it. That guy's a try-hard. He'll be all over it. Let's see. Eric says, let's go. Best of luck. Are we ready for some football? I am, man. You just can't beat a Friday night. Start putting all your college football lineups together. You kind of got NFL in the back of your mind, just marinating on it. It's just fun, man. These next 48 hours are a freaking blast. I love it. Can we talk? Can't wait to talk 100% Ryan O'Keefe. Look, Ryan O'Keefe is a legit wide receiver, right? Like, he is a good talent. I just, for the life of me, cannot figure out if Boston College is even going to have a pulse against Florida State. But if you think that Boston College is going to push Florida State, I think O'Keefe is a great play. Matter of fact, if I'm running any Jordan Travis, I'm almost always going to have a rule to have O'Keefe as a run back. I really am. Showdown Cash crushed again last night. Let's go. It's a thing, man. It's a thing. I need to start doing it, Mike. I'm a guy with bad habits, and I just get stuck in my ways, and I don't ever try anything new. I'm a loser. Jordan Travis Coleman, stack most popular? No, not at all. I don't think any people are going to stack him because that's a very expensive stack. $9,700 for Jordan Travis is not cheap. So I think if you like a Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman stack, I think you do it. And I think you have O'Keefe as a reasonably priced run back. Or if you want to get real gross, you can go run Lewis Bond. What do you think of Bama replacing their quarterback? I think it needed to be done. Look, Bama is a pro-style offense, right? And when you have Milroe as your quarterback, you're not pro-style. You're high school style, okay? Because that guy can't throw a forward pass, right? He is just not good at throwing a forward pass. He's a tremendous athlete. He's just not a good pro-style quarterback. So you had to do it. I can't believe they started him, right? It just made no sense. I think that their ego just got in the way, and they thought they could just run the ball down the throat of any team. You can't do that. When there's no threat of that guy being able to throw a ball more than 10 yards down the field accurately, you have no chance against good teams, that is. Let's see, up to 72 likes, almost there. 3 Bulldogs in my GPP, too many? No. If you think that South Carolina is going to push that game at all, I could see a double stack, right? That quarterback, he could get 2 of them there, right? Beck could definitely get, no, how about Beck, Bowers, and Milton? That could get there, right? You're telling me all those guys couldn't get 25-plus points and they win this game something like 42-21? That's definitely a thing, right? And I think you could probably even run Mr. Wells Jr. as a run back. I don't hate that. But, you know, as long as the key is there, the part of your question, Eric, was you said in GPPs. Never do that in cash. Do you always have a run back for anything you stack? I do not, Mr. Songlist. That's a really good question. I like to have one, but sometimes if I think it's going to be, you know, if the other team doesn't have any usage monsters, I'm not going to just play a guy from the other team to play a guy from the other team. Now, in an instance where like that Georgia one I just said, if South Carolina comes back, their usage monster is Antoine Wells Jr., right? If Bama is, well, maybe not use Bama, right? If Western Kentucky, if I want to run Ohio State stack, I'm almost certainly going to run it back with Corley because he is a usage monster, and if they're going to push them, it will likely be because of him. So I only do run backs if I think that they have a good usage monster on the other side to justify it. I don't do it blindly. Do you think, Jim Steele asked, do you think OSU will boat race Western Kentucky and bench the starters by half? I don't. I think Western Kentucky is a little tougher than people think. I think they're a little tougher than people think. Your thoughts on Leonard at quarterback? or Superflex. Man, look, if Northwestern can push Duke at all, Riley Leonard's awesome. Like, he's really good, and he is tremendously underpriced just based on his talent. But I will tell you this, Duke can get very, very bland sometimes. And when they get bland, that means that Leonard's not running. That means Leonard's not throwing the ball down the field. They're just chewing up clock, running it between the tackles with Waters, right? And when they do that, that really kills Leonard upside. I'm just telling you, Leonard has a 12-point game. I think it was just last week he got 10 points. Look at that. Hey, editor, I got 75 likes. Let's go. Hey, let's see if we can get to 100. Draw another name for me, editor. What's up, Tony? Mark. Can MU beat K-State? I think so. I think they can. I like K-State because I think K-State's got that dog in them. But, Missouri's like, they got, it's kind of like balls to the wall. I feel like Missouri wins this game, they're going to have a solid season. They lose, I think they fall apart. That's my narrative. Which game gets piss hot for tomorrow? If you make me pick, I'm sticking to that Mississippi State LSU game. I think that's the one most likely to bust out and have a big game. Then Magic School says, don't worry about run back correlations and cash. Just go with your best players possible. Absolutely. Right? Matter of fact, I want anti-correlation in my cash lineups, right? Meaning that, like, I don't worry about stacking wide receivers and quarterbacks. I certainly don't worry about stacks from run backs from the other team. So, yeah, in your cash lineup, you're just trying to get the 8 best guys in there, the 8 best price per dollar guys who are going to be in competitive games and are going to be usage monsters. That's all I'm doing with my cash lineups, right? And I guess I picked different guys than other people because, like, some people weren't playing fucking Restrepo last week at 4,100. It was, like, the most free square ever, and he was, like, 18% owned. Evan Stewart in a competitive game where he is a usage monster and people are playing like freaking Travis Hunter. Get out of here, you morons. All right. Richard Sobolowski. There you go. Me and you will build a lineup tonight, bro. Cephas, reach out to me. Same with you, Mark. Look at that. Akasol said there is weather concerns for FSU and BC. So that person that asked about weather, there's Akasol on the weather for you. How do you use the solver for cash in college football? Well, what I do is I just go run my projections, Degen 75, and I just go simply off projections, and I run about 6 of them based on my projections, and I look at those lineups, and it kind of gives me a feel for what is the most points, projected points per dollar I can get with salary constraints, right? That's usually how I do it. I hardly ever run what my optimal does because the optimal can never really factor in things like, how competitive is the game, stuff like that, right? So, like, sometimes, a guy like Devin Leary might show up in my cash lineup, but I don't know if I really want Devin Leary playing against Akron, right? There's a good chance they're going to blow them out. So he's not, even if he shows up there, I wouldn't want him. By the way, I have the night slate up, so just work with me, okay? Good question, though, Sean. Can Reed, Corley, Stack get there in a GBB? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. I think that they could sneaky score 21 to 28 points. Reed throws 3 touchdowns. 2 of them are to Corley. They're there. Now you just go get the Ohio State guy or guys. Maybe it's Marvin Harrison. Maybe it's Abuka. Maybe it's one of the running backs. And I think you're golden there. LSU Mississippi State looks like the best shootout. It will be the chalkiest game, Cody. I guarantee you. That's why I have it colored chalky. You got the stone over there on the site. What game is likely to shoot out more? Noon or evening games? Oh, the evening games are way better, man. Just look at these games. I think I just had it up there on the solver, right? Look at these games here, right? Florida, Tennessee could shoot out. Let's see. Purdue, Syracuse could shoot out. Arkansas, BYU could shoot out. Houston, TCU could shoot out. That's 4 games right there that's better than any game on this early slate. The night slate tomorrow is the nuts, right? A great time to play GPPs tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow night, excuse me. Better to play, also still play cash though. Better play the best plays versus correlation and cash. Always best plays. You never worry about correlation and cash. Get the word correlation out of your head in cash. Is the coaching staff saving Braylon Allen for the grind of the Big Ten? That could be a thing, but whatever, man. Let the guy go eat. That's a pretty solid point, Mike. I don't hate it. Big Drake says, would you touch the Bama QB situation? Look, in a GPP, I'm not opposed to it, right? I'm not opposed to it, but I will tell you, old Buckner's going to be on a short leash, so I don't love that, dude. Thoughts on Minnesota versus North Carolina? Yeah, that's a FanDuel game, right? And over there, I think that is a pretty good game, right? They both have pretty solid totals over there. I have some guys marked up on that for my cash plays over on FanDuel, so I don't hate it, Waylon Jennings. How many LSU players is too many? First of all, Nick, let's just go ahead and acknowledge that here's your LSU symbol. I do this just for Nick. For all of you like, that's not LSU symbol. It's just for Nick. It's just to trigger him. How many LSU players is too many? I personally would not go. I won't ever have more than 2 in my lineups because Daniels is a guy that really only needs to get one guy, one wide receiver there, and he can get so much done with his legs that I will never have more than 2. But I could see 3, maybe a Daniels Neighbors and then a punt wide receiver, or a Daniels Thomas and one of the running backs, if you can fucking guess that right. Mark says play Hartman. I mean, I don't know. You can. I just what are the chances that Central Michigan's going to push this game at all? I mean, they have an 11-point total, right? And let's face it, even when Hartman ended up having a solid game last week, he was throwing some lucky play action touchdowns with 4 minutes left in the game when they were up by a bajillion. It's just not things that you can plan on happening again. Harrison and Ibuka in the same lineup? I don't even know what the hell that means. Oh, Egbuka. Okay. No, I don't like that. I don't see it. They're just too expensive to play them both together, right? And if you are, you would certainly have to play them with McCord. Now that's really expensive. Henderson or Allen for running back? Oh, definitely Allen. Look, the Ohio State running backs are so good, and they're in such a good offense. But, man, those guys, unless one of them's hurt, I just can't play them. I'd rather just go play these Penn State running backs than those two. Plus, they're cheaper. Are you this good in NFL? I mean, I don't know. Come watch the fucking stream tomorrow and you tell me, Bob. All right. Let's see. Wide receiver flex cash viable this week? Yeah, I think so. Especially on the night slate. There is not a lot of great running backs on the night slate tomorrow. So it might be a wide receiver in the flex for cash tomorrow for me. And tomorrow for the main slate that we're looking at here, I think there's enough good running backs that I'll probably go with a running back. But if you have a lineup that works with 4 wide receivers you like, well then run it, brother. I don't think there's 3 obvious running backs that you have to play. But I would say I on a 14 game slate, 90% of the time I'm a running back over a wide receiver in the flex. Do you track chalk and pivots and football like you do for golf? I don't, Jason. I try to keep my football content different than my golf stuff. I take a lot of pride in trying to innovate and do different stuff at golf. At football, I really just want to not be boring as shit and try to help people with the game a little bit, right? I'm not trying to put on a show over here as much as I am with my PGA shit. In case you didn't see me do Freddie fucking Mercury with Cam Champ, which, by the way, Cam Champ, the loser we all thought he was. Hope y'all didn't play him. I tried to warn you. Don't play that loser piece of shit. All right, watch out. A lot of wind due to hurricanes hitting Massachusetts coast. BC Florida State game. There you go. That's twice we've heard from that. Very nice. All right, what game will Colorado lose and Deion goes down? I mean, Oregon's going to beat the shit out of them. Oregon's got a bunch of animals up front, and Colorado's got a bunch of high school transfers. With so many potential blowouts, are you thinking 2 stacks for the 20 max? No. Look, in college football, I will have 4 quarterbacks, right? Because you get to put one in the quarterback spot and the super flex. So I would have 4 in my 20, and I would be mixing and matching those guys, right? You don't, Jay Steele, that's my NFL rule. Who can be the sneakiest value play of the day? Once again, I'm just going to keep going back to these Penn State running backs. I think one of them is going to break the slate. One of them is going to have 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 35 yards. They're just going to break the slate. They're going to have 33 points, okay? I don't know which one. If you made me pick, I would lean Katron Allen, but Singleton is literally just as likely. Literally just as likely. All right. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Do you use the solver for cash game, or is it just for GPPs? No, I use it to start my process to kind of see what it's saying is the optimal, but I have yet to use it to build my cash lineup. I love hand building my cash lineup, tweaking it, moving stuff around, hearing some gossip that this guy might be doing this or this guy might get more play. I'm changing it usually all the way up until kick. So yeah, I always hand build it, but I will use the solver to give me an idea of what would be the quote unquote most optimized, right? Thoughts on Houston TCU game? Okay, once again, that's a night game tomorrow night, and I absolutely love it, right? I encourage you, Javon, come over, check out the site if you're not already over there. Just sign up for the newsletter. I'll get you a free week, and I have a complete stone for tomorrow night, and I will be doing a stream for it, so a lot of good stuff there. God, is early slate gross? Worst you've ever seen? No, they've all been pretty gross, Cody. The problem is college football tends to put the better games towards the evening because they know that's when more people are watching, right? All right, make sure to drop a like on your way out. I appreciate all 90 of you that are still hanging out with me. Do not forget to be here tomorrow for the NFL show. I will be doing tons of giveaways, $20 tickets all over the place. Be here. Tell a friend. We will go over the entire main slate, answer your questions, do some drawings, have some fun, talk some shit. 7 o'clock tomorrow. I hope to see you there. It's been real. Come check out the site, or don't. We'll win with or without you, punk. It's been real, guys. Enjoy this outro.